Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative. This video I'm doing today is not the one I had originally planned for you. I had another project where I was doing a silicone mold pour. Unfortunately, I ran out of silicone, and I'm hoping that it arrives on Monday, the extra silicone I need, and then perhaps on next Thursday or next Saturday, I will have it done and you'll get to see it. So, running out of silicone, and it's a really big piece I'm doing. Not really surprised, but not really surprised I ran out. So, what are we going to be doing today then? I recently purchased from Lightwish UV Colorful Resin. I wanted to try this out. Another channel had indicated that it was a really good brand of UV resin, and I thought, well, let's try it out. Let's see what we think. It's a 6-color set. The colors are black, dark blue, lime green, white, orange, and red. The box is really pretty. I've opened up the box, but I have not looked at the colors. I've not done anything with them yet. I thought we could do that together. So let me get into the box. The containers, they're 50 mils, which I didn't think was a bad size for UV resin, so it should last me a fairly long time. And they have the caps to go with them. So as I say, all the bottles still sealed. I know I'm just showing you the red one, but they are all sealed. And I will be going off camera to take, now that one feels a little lighter. That one feels heavier than the I guess this is the dark blue. This feels lighter. This definitely doesn't feel like it's got 50 mils in it, especially because the red seems to have more heft to it. That definitely has more heft to it. That's not bad. A little lighter. About the same as the orange. So the red, the white, and the green feel decently heavy for what you'd expect 50 mils. The blue definitely doesn't. It doesn't feel like 50 mils. The orange does, and I'd say the black does for sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and pull down my, and I need to not pull you with me. I've got to get myself on. I am stuck here. Give me a second. I just want to get myself untangled here so I can get my scale, because I'm curious about the blue and how much is that bottle actually weighs. So I've got my little scale here. Those off to the side, that off to the side. Let's put this here and hopefully I can, okay, can you see that? Yeah, we're at 0. And that says 39 on it. That says 58. Let's just measure them all. 59, 59, 58, and 59. So it's interesting that the blue is the one that, now let's see, let me open it up, make sure the cap, yeah, it's still sealed, but that definitely does not have 50 mils. And I get that the bottle is going to, represent some of the weight in that, but that's only got 39 grams in it, 39 mils in it. So that would be one of the things I'd comment on the website, that the blue definitely does not have the same amount of resin in it that the other ones do, which is kind of unfortunate. So let's just get that off to the side and unhook myself again. I am quickly going to go off camera. I'm going to take the silver covers off of these all. I'm going to put the other lids on, and then we're going to figure out what we want to do. Well, I've kind of figured that out already, so why hold you up? So this mold, which I got from Temu a while ago, I'm going to use this as our example of doing these pieces. I also have out the chrome markers by Let's Resin, because what I'd like to do, if I can and carefully, is, so for this one, for example, well, they all have a design in them. So if I can actually put on with the chrome markers, just to give this some detail. I haven't done that before. I've seen other people do it. I want to see if I can, and if we can make these pieces a little more interesting, and hopefully they'll cure properly for us and there won't be an issue. So let me get the lids all set up, get these all set up properly, and then I will be back. I'm back. I have put the proper lids on all of these now. I have also put some of the chrome markers inside 1, 2, 3, and 4 of these ornaments. I did read the back of the box, and it's interesting because it says this glue can be used for various crafts, and I thought the fact that they were mentioning it as a glue is a very interesting way of wording what is technically a UV resin. So that I found really interesting. They called it that. And they do talk, so these do have, at least to me, I know I'm very sensitive to smell. These are strong, and they do recommend wearing, and I'm going to recommend that you do wear a mask and be in a really well ventilated area when you're doing this, just because it's strong, and it's going to be interesting too how much stronger it is when these are actually curing. So let's just start with, and I'm gonna be sort of light with my blue just because I don't have as much of it as the other colors. So let's put some blue in the star. And I haven't done the chrome markers on things before, so I'm really, and hopefully it'll work with UV resin. Again, because I haven't done it, I don't know. Hopefully it'll work, that it'll pull up what I've put. So let's do the star. And I think what I'm going to do, because I am limited on the amount of blue, is I am just going to put, I'm going to do like a half and half on this. So I think maybe I'll do blue and red on this star. Come on, come on. Very thick coming out. Very thick. Let's get it over that. Yeah, this stuff is thick. That's for sure. That's for sure. It's a very thick resin. So I'm going to turn the red on the side just to kind of get it flowing. So definitely thick. I don't know whether that makes, I'm used to resins that are thinner. And I'm just going to get a popsicle, not a popsicle stick, one of my toothpicks out just to kind of get it in and around the back of this hook, because there's really no point in doing it if it's not, I'm not going to have that, right? It's very deep blue for sure. No, didn't get rid of that bubble prop. I'm going to have to use my lighter on this, I think. They do suggest, I think, layering this. I did read the instructions. I don't remember them that well now, but I did read them. So let's just, it's very thick. I can kind of see where they get the reference to glue, because it's almost like, it's almost glue-like, for sure. That's interesting. Very interesting. Let's just get this everywhere I want it to be. Yeah, get it everywhere. Let's just call it what it is. Not just a matter of get it everywhere. It's I'm getting it everywhere. That's for sure. That is for sure. These have got a bit of a lip on them, so that's part of my issue, getting the resin where I want it to go. And I'm sure I'm going to have to trim these down a little bit because I'm making a bit of a mess here. Sometimes, you know, working with 2-part epoxy or 10-minute cure resin is just so much easier, right? Because it flows where you want it to, easy peasy. And sometimes when you're working with something like this, it's a little more challenging. So we're going to pour some more blue in here, and hopefully I am in camera good. Amazing how I get partway through and they go, am I even in camera? It's really important to me because I know a couple of times I've been out of range, and that's not helpful, is it? Okay. Now let's go to the red. Fill the rest of this up with red. Let's see how vibrant our red is, if it's a real red. Now it's got a bit of a pink hue to it. I wouldn't call that a true red. I'd call it more of a pink red. And let's let that sort of go out. And then I think, what colors? Let's do some green while the red spreads out. We'll let the red do some spreading out. And then we'll get the green. I should have these all on their sides because it'll just make it that much easier, I think, to get them out. Now the green, it says it's a lime green. It's not a true green. And I think we could probably, you know, if we wanted to, we could mix and have it make a little bit more of a greener color. I was thinking black, and I'm wondering if that might make it too dark. Let's just put these all down, and let's do some orange in here while the red continues to spread itself out. Now the orange, I would say it has a touch of yellow in it, but it's pretty. And red's getting where I need it to go, so let's just spread the red, the pink. Yeah, I'd definitely call that more of a pink than I would a red. And probably when we get it out of the mold, you'll be able to see better. You may be able to now anyway, but it's more of it's a very pretty pink. I'd call it almost like a fuchsia. I'd call it a fuchsia, not a red. And again, you know, depending on what you're doing, it may be the perfect color for you. So we won't, so I just want to get this green. I'm going to have to put some more out in here so I can get it flowing some more around the outer edges. I guess we could do the orange around there if we wanted to. Yeah, and I don't know about you, but I always find I can't avoid air bubbles with UV resin. I always get some. And I think what we might do is we're going to put some orange up at the top. And it'll be curious too, when these cure, whether or not they actually come out a little darker as well. And they might. Yeah, definitely. Getting more air bubbles. So definitely want to go over that with a long neck lighter. So that you get rid of as many bubbles as you can. As many bubbles as you can. Get rid of that one. That one's okay. I want to get these around the sides. So we'll just kind of push it. Trying not to take off the silver. It's, you know, I have to admit, one of the nice things about using resin in general is I find that you can, if you're careful, you can really control where it goes, which is a great thing, right? Like if you're gentle with it and careful with it, you know, it doesn't end up everywhere. And now what I want to do is, I think I'll do one of these black because I want to see how black the black comes out. And we'll do the other one white and see how white the white comes out. And I'm trying not to make these very thick either, so that, you know, we get a good cure on. Oops, not too far with that. Okay, let's do that. Get it up around. Oh, now I got a piece of something on my stick. Just call them sticks. The wood stick. Make it easier for everybody. And I'd roll them around, and I say that like just sort of, oh, don't stick your finger in anything, Natalie. So what are you guys up to today? It's a Saturday. And depending, I guess it's depending on what the weather's like in your part of the world. Toronto had a very bad storm on Tuesday. And as I understand, New York had a very bad storm on Tuesday as well, with the rains and whatnot. The pictures I saw of Toronto, I'm still just floored. I've talked about having a pond out in my backyard. It's not a real pond. It's just, it accumulates water and then it becomes a pond. And I was just, you know, I complain about my pond because it gets very wet and then I can't cut the grass where it is very wet. Oh, the pictures in Toronto, the highways and roadways that got closed, the flooding, oh, it was just insane. I can't even, I've never been around anything like that, and I'm very grateful that I haven't. We've had some really bad winter storms where I live, and I couldn't believe it. Seeing the storm with the damage it done, like just water. And my husband had been down in the States. He was in New York. He had sort of hit the last of the storm. His boss basically drove through it. And fortunately, my husband got back up to where we live, which is, you know, we're an hour, 2 hours outside of Toronto. And like he missed, because one of the highways he has to travel on actually ended up being closed down because of the amount of rain they got in the highway. And I just, again, I can't fathom it. I just can't. But I know there's been lots of rain this year in a lot of different places. So I feel very fortunate for where we are, where we live, and that we haven't been hit as hard as some other places have. So if you're one of the places that got hit, I hope you're doing well, and that, you know, it's dried up in your neck of the woods. And for me, I look at the most important thing to me would be that everybody is safe, because I know people have, you know, things that they lose in storms like that. I can understand being upset. I would look at it, I would just want to make sure everybody was okay. That would be what my most important thing is. So if you've been part of the storms, if you've been in them, and I hope you're okay, and that everyone in your family and your friends are okay as well. So we've almost got this ready to go. I just want to sort of go around the edges of this, just to make sure I don't really have any air bubbles on the side. And then we'll cure this up. And we'll see. Again, I'm going to do what I normally do. I will be, get these off to the side. I will be doing what? I will be holding my UV lamp above like I usually do. I mean, this is really low and it'd probably be fine, but I like the idea of not having it right over top to start. So we'll do 60 seconds. And we will let this cure, and then I'll put it down. My interesting thing for me on this is going to be how well it cures, the sort of depth of color you can achieve with it. And I guess because I've been spoiled with J. Diction and the Let's Resin clear UV resin, I'm wanting to see how vibrant these ones are, because it kind of advertises that. I do have the Let's Resin UV colored. I haven't done a lot with them. I don't think they're as vibrant as what these colors are, but every company is going to do them different. And I see as time goes on, I mean, the technology, what they're able to do with it, will improve over time for sure. Okay, so that was 60 seconds. Let's just test it. Let's see if we sink or swim. No, it seems to have. I definitely want to do it for more than 60 seconds. Don't get me wrong, but it has hardened. Yeah. Yep, it's hardened. I do have a bit of a air bubble there in the white. So let's put this down. We'll let it sit now down. As far as the scent goes, it had said on the box that, oh, where did it go? There's a slight odor before the glue is cured. It is recommended to wear a mask and ventilate during the operation. The odor would dissipate under ventilation after the glue is cured. I still find it fascinating that they call it glue. I just think that's very interesting that we would call it a glue. And then once we get this side done, we'll flip it to the other. So, question of the day, have you tried Lightwish? Is it a brand you've tried? Do you like it if you've tried it? Do you have recommendations for other UV resins that you... And I think we should look at the colored UV resins. I see the clear being sort of in a class of its own because it's clear, and it would cure better and faster because it is clear, unless obviously you put something in it. But have you tried Lightwish? And if you have, what do you think of it? And if you haven't, what brand, if any, are you using from a UV colored resin? Now I have some air bubbles under here, so these may not come out exactly according to plan, which is okay, right? We're doing a test. That's what this is all about. I'm giving myself a break from this being perfect. There you go. Gotta give yourself a break whenever you can. And while that's curing, I want to ask you, do you ever say to yourself, I'd seen a post on Facebook recently where someone had said how proud they were of someone else, and it immediately got me thinking about, I think it's great when someone else says they're proud of you for what you've done, but I wonder how often we actually say to ourselves, thank you, and I'm proud of my work as well. And I struggle with that. I have a hard time, giving myself that. But do you do that? Will you, if someone says they're proud of what you've done, regardless of what it's in regards to, it doesn't really matter, but do you think about and say to yourself, I'm proud of myself too? And the other thing, and I'm going to do the scan so I can kind of finish this conversation off. There was a Big Bang Theory show where Leonard's mom had said something along the lines, basically, I don't need to be proud, it's not my accomplishment. And, some people might think that's really cold, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought she's right. If an accomplishment isn't yours, but is somebody else's, do they ever say, yeah, I'm proud of myself too? And I think when it comes to our art and what we do, I think it's really important that we go, yeah, I'm really proud of this piece of work. And that's something I'm going to work at doing more of. I found it was one of those moments of, they had said how proud they were of someone, but I thought, is that person proud of themselves? Because they should be for their accomplishment. So just food for thought as we're working through this. It was one of those moments of, it's great to have someone else say they're proud of you and they believe in you. But if you can do it and say that for yourself and mean it, that's, I think, even more important. Now, let's get these out of here. So hopefully they're cured enough. I mean, they've been under there for, what, 4 minutes now? So let's get these out. Let's see how well the chrome markers worked. Oh, not bad. Probably a little bit more work. Now, I do have some, and I don't know whether it's sticky. It's hard to see. But we'll pull them all out and then we'll see, because it may be a little bit of dampness. However, that may be because I didn't let it sit enough to get into all the crevices. So that's not, I won't point that to the UV. That one, I definitely have air bubbles in that. It's, the mould's hot. For sure the mould's hot. But again, UV resin, because it's being heated up, that makes total sense to me. Okay. And then this blue and pink. Okay, so I think I found my way of decorating these up is using paint pens on those. That looks pretty, eh? I do like that. Okay, so it didn't pick up all the chrome. Now, I don't know what the answer to that is, and I don't know why. It didn't pick it all up. I'd say for the most part, now we're going to do a bit of a test here to see. For the most part, I just want to, trying to think how I can do this so I don't go off camera. And I am. So I just want to see if it's sticky. My glove is not sticking to it, so that's a good sign. I do like how that star turned out. It's, yeah, so at least I know what to do with that. I do find, the one thing I find with UV resin, and I know I could have built this up and built this up, so that's fair, is how it shrinks when it gets heated up. And how it doesn't sit flat. Oh, there's a bubble back there, okay. Okay, so, and then the white came out pretty decently. Looking past all my sort of air bubbles and whatnot, the white came out pretty decently. And again, we'll test it to make sure I don't have any. It might be better with my fingers, but I don't want to put my hands in it. So that's not bad. But the white's white, eh? That looks pretty cool. I just have to get better with my chrome markers. That's for sure. Now, it's right in here. I'll point with this. Right in here. So I don't know what that's from. It almost looks like I had pulled some of the UV resin off, but I can't see any on there. I don't think it is sticky. I'm just not sure why it's looking like that. But the black's pretty cool too. If you built that up, you'd have a nice black. So let me get something that isn't black against black. I guess we'll just use my blue. So you could build that up quite nicely, I think, and have that be a darker black. So I think that's kind of cool. So 2, 4, 6, yeah, just doing my counting out loud. The green I'm not fussy on, only because it doesn't, it's not as, I was hoping for more of a Christmas green or a green, not a lime green, but I mean, that's irrelevant. And then again, I sort of have some spots, so it may not, you know, the issue may have been the fact that the UV resin just didn't quite hit the bottom of the mold because of air, so that's fair. And it's hard to see the silver chrome marker on that one, but again, you know, just playing. So we don't really have any sticky spots, which is nice. I mean, that's important to me because I don't, this signature, I don't like I say, when I use this now, it's strictly for test pieces to see if I want to figure something out, but I don't like it, and it doesn't cure well, which is kind of amazing to me, but maybe I shouldn't be surprised. It's not a brand I would recommend. Yeah, so the orange has a sort of a yellowy tinge to it, but not bad, not bad. So because we've done that, let's just do a little bit of orange by itself, and I don't want to do a big piece. And let me just wipe the bottom, because I can see where, with that one in my mold, sort of where it hit. It just didn't get right down into it, which is fair. Yeah, it's still marked up down there. Or maybe it cured and anyway. Okay, let's do a better comparison of the orange. So we'll just do a little bit because I don't really want to waste it. And there's another air bubble. Like, it comes out a really pretty color. I definitely like the blue and what they call the red. I'll call it a fuchsia. I really like those two. That blue is very pretty and very vibrant. It's just too bad I don't have what I'm supposed to have of it. So we'll just kind of get this down. I don't know how thick you would want to try and go with this to get it to cure. That I don't know. I mean, you could play with it, right? Just to see how far you could go with it as far as thickness goes. And I guess if you're patient, you've got a really good light lamp and one that does both sides at the same time. That might be good. And I definitely think leaving this stuff to sit for a few minutes isn't a bad thing. Not a bad thing. And I look at it too with these colors, that if you wanted to mix them together to come up with another color, I would do it in some sort of container and then pour it into my mold before I were to put it in. I wouldn't try mixing it inside the mold. And then we'll just do some of the green on the other side. And see. It definitely isn't a green green. Definitely not a green green. Yeah, I'm just going to see if I can join them together. But I don't think I will. And I don't use tons of UV resin. I think the biggest thing I use my UV resin for is top coats if I need it. And I know a lot of people use it in jewelry, and you know what, it's probably because I haven't done a lot of it. I can't really say it's not good for that because it's not something I've done a lot of. I think because UV resin heats up so much, it tends to leave you with, like, it curls because it's getting so hot so fast. I think that's, and I haven't done it enough. It's like anything. You practice enough and you're going to get good at it, and you're going to figure out okay, this is what I need to do next time. This is what I should have done. And that type of thing. There we go. I think that's the big thing with anything. First day you do it, it may not turn out great, but the more you practice it, the better it's going to get. Okay, so what we'll do, yeah, the green's definitely a very pale green. And then while these ones are curing, I don't know how, I wouldn't say they're overly opaque, especially no, I shouldn't say, let me rephrase it. I think the black and the white you could get quite opaque if you wanted to. And then the other colors, I think you'd have to layer them to get them. I want to get rid of that air bowl, and I want to get rid of whatever the heck that was. I got something in it, I think. I definitely have an air bowl. I think the black and the white you could definitely get very opaque if you wanted them to be. And the other ones, and I don't think it would take a lot to get the black and the white opaque. I do think, however, the other colors, you're going to have to do, I don't want to say a fair bit of layering, but you're definitely going to have to layer them, I think, to get them darker. Save maybe the blue. I've got air bubbles in this? That drives me nuts. Either that or I've got something in it. But I can see the air bubbles in it. And I sometimes tend to think that UV resin tends to have more air bubbles than the others. Okay, let's just put this down. I'm going to go against the grain and just put that right down. Yeah, so that and that, I don't think it would take much to get it that you'd have a nice solid color in them. I really don't. And then the others, the green definitely you'd want to start building up. And the orange isn't bad. The blue definitely wouldn't probably take a lot. And the red, pink. It is very pretty, but I think it would take a little bit more to get it darker if you wanted it. So we'll do this one side. I'm going to have to clean out my mold because I still have some of the chrome marker on the side of the one piece. So I'll have to get that cleaned out. It'll be nice to see the green and the orange so they're not together. Okay. Let me just make sure because I don't want, that gets warm. Yeah, you can definitely feel the heat on that. Definitely feel the heat on that. So I guess that's the beautiful thing about two-part epoxy is, yeah, it can get really warm if you work with it too long. However, its natural tendency is not to be and get too hot. And I realized with the one piece I'm making out of silicone that I needed to order myself some deep pour resin because I thought this piece is too big. You really don't want to be making it without a deep pour resin, so it's going to be a cool piece. It's just unfortunate I ran out of silicone to finish making it. But I guess that happens, right? I guess the other question I could ask you is, have you made any really big silicone pieces, you know, in your time, or are you just sticking to the smaller pieces? This was a piece I really wanted to make. And so I was willing to spend the money on, you know, the silicone and the resin so that I can get what I'm looking for. Alrighty. Yeah, so I think part of my issue, I mean, this one's got the sort of the markings on the bottom, and hopefully if I hold it like that, you might be able to see. Again, it could be because the resin's not like getting right down into the crevices the way it should. And this may not be the best mold to have, you know, decided to do this with. But it gives you a better idea of the color. The orange I don't think would take very much to get it darker. The green, I mean, I think if you wanted it darker, you would want to add a little bit of black to that. Or even maybe a little bit of mica powder. But yeah, it cured well. Cured well. I mean, that's hard, so that's good. I always like taking things out into the sun because I know the sun is definitely going to cure pieces. If I have any concern, I hope for a sunny day and I cure things that way. Anyway, this is my video for today to make up for the one that isn't going to be posted quite yet. I hope you found this a beneficial video. And again, let me know what you think of, if you've tried this product, what you think of it, and or what other UV companies you've tried that are colored, because I'd like to know that as well. Thank you for subscribing. Our numbers are growing. I'm loving the comments. As I usually say, I love the comments I get from people. Keep tuning in, and I will keep doing experiments and testing some things out. And occasionally I'm going to do a quick and easy video when my other videos aren't ready to be posted. Anyway, thank you for watching. Take care. Bye for now.